Hey, buddy, I want to talk to you about this next song, To See What Your Eyes See. It's a story you told me years ago when you were on the road with Lee Greenwood and the bus broke down. Please tell me that story. I want everybody to hear that.
Yeah, so we had flown in to Salt Lake City from Nashville. Back in those days, American had a hub here, and so you could fly nonstop to a lot of places, especially back in those days, you could fly out west pretty easily. And so we flew to Salt Lake, and we were going to do like a 3.5 week West Coast run. We were going to start in Jackpot, Nevada, or somewhere like that. It's crazy. So we met the buses in Salt Lake, and we were making our way to the show, and the band bus broke down. Now, and back in those days, we had cell phones, but they didn't work very much. It's analog, everything. And so the crew bus, Lee rode on the crew bus, and it was probably 2 miles ahead of us. So we couldn't bring him up on the CB. So we called the bus on the phone, and they couldn't hear us very well, but they knew something was wrong. Well, anyway, in the meantime, while we're waiting on them to come back, we're on the Bonneville Salt Flats, and many of you know what I'm talking about. I'd never been out west. That was my first time. I was 22 years old and never really seen the world, And I didn't even know what the Bonneville Salt Flats were. So we got out, and they were explaining to me that it's totally flat surface for miles and miles around. No dips, no hills, no humps, nothing. Just
Rocks,
flat,
trees, anything.
no trees, just flat land. And I just couldn't believe it. And over I asked, so there's nothing? There's absolutely nothing? Nothing? No. For miles, as far as you can see, there's nothing. So I took off running because I had never ran without holding somebody's elbow or arm ever in my whole life.
That's awesome.
So I got to have both arms swinging. And I just ran as fast as I could. And it was the most amazing thing to be able to run untethered,
That's kind of what our faith is about, isn't it?
Yeah.
They had to come get you, though.
Yeah, they were like, no. But that was a pretty fantastic experience, and I'll never forget it. And it just, we take a lot of things for granted in our lives. And,
We do.
a sighted person takes for granted that they can ride a bike by themselves or run by themselves. I have a buddy that I ride a tandem bicycle with a lot, and that's been a lot of fun. But riding a bike, walking in the neighborhood by yourself. If I want to do that, and nobody's there to do it with, I have to go and do the boring elliptical or the treadmill or the exercise bike. So just, that kind of story, I think, just goes to show that there are a lot of things that we all take for granted.
We do.
That other people wish they could be a part of or do or feel or touch or, and so I think your song, To See What Your Eyes See, can be taken many different ways. But of course, you wrote it talking about how we as Christians want to see through the eyes of Christ.
Right.
We want to see the world. We want our hearts to break for all of the injustice that is being done in the world. And I'm not just talking about, the social issues that we're facing, but I'm talking about things that don't really get talked about from the pulpit, like the child slavery issue, trafficking.
Terrible.
And yes, there are so many injustices that we don't have time to name them all. But God sees those. And our prayer needs to be that we see those things as well, and that our heart breaks.
And as
like
he
His
sees
breaks.
That's great. Thank you. Every time I go to sing this song, I think about that story. It just stuck in my head when you told me that, to see what your eyes see. And I think that's what you had, the faith that God would just say, hey, I want to see what you see. And I'm taking off, buddy, and y'all gonna have to come get me.
It was a fun thing.
That was a great story.
It was a fun thing.
Thank you.
Well, should we do the song?
Let's do it. To See What Your Eyes See.
Okay.
why you gave your precious life for me. I sit amazed and think of how you made that blind man see. But nothing can be greater than the blood you shed for me. So give me strength and help me, Lord, to see what your eyes see.
You heal the sick, you feed the poor, your miracles abound. The life you gave to save our sins has felt the world around. But nothing can be greater than the blood you shed for me. So give me strength and help me, Lord, to see what your eyes see.
And I see blessings all around me,
And I see God's love everywhere.
and I see angels every day, Lord.
And I see hearts and souls who care.
God sent you to this earth below to save us from our sin. We also have the promise that you will return again.
But nothing can be greater than the blood you shed for me.
So give me strength and help me, Lord,
To see what your eyes see.
yes, to see what your eyes